today I took a little bit of a break from music making and went back to class to try and understand the differences between Vital and Serum. We had an episode a few days ago about why you would maybe buy Serum if you were someone who was looking at Serum and Vital and trying to understand the comparisons of, and the video to talk about why you should or shouldn't buy Serum. And today I wanted to lean in a little bit more into the what are the specific particularities between the two. And so today, in an effort to try and understand that question a little bit deeper, I took a sound that I had previously made in Vital and tried to remake it in Serum and see how close I could get. And we found some interesting things. The sound is this sound here. It's a really fun kind of like beehive type of patch here, especially when you put this filter on it. You get this. But I left that filter off. We just stuck with that sound, and I tried to see if I could build the same thing in Serum, and this is how close we got. It's pretty close. It is different though. There are some little changes, some little things that were different. The first thing I tried was making the wave shape by hand, which you can kind of see here. This is me literally just drawing it in. If you put the grid size down to 0, 0, you can literally draw the shape just with your cursor. And this is me on a trackpad just trying to draw in that curved line that you see here. But this obviously wasn't a shape I made. This was a wavetable I downloaded. It's subtle, but there is a difference. Here kind of the shift in those from like a there's a shift there in the overtones. And so once I just pulled in, this is literally the exact same wavetable that we have going on over here, this ESW analog brute saw. There's some waves I downloaded off the internet. I think if you Google ESW analog wavetables, you can probably find those waves yourself. From that point on, I just started copy and pasting over like instructions. So this wave shape at this level here with 9 voices at a 17% spread, then with a high pass 12 dB filter here with a little bit of resonance on the back end, and then in the effects copying over distortion. The soft clip for Vital here sounded more similar to the tube in the Serum distortion categories. I tried their soft clip, it didn't sound particularly close. Then this filter here, it looks a little bit different, but this is, it's a 24 decibel filter. We put a 24 decibel and just gotta turn this knob until it sounded right. And then the compressor, similar compressor situation. You can see even kind of a similar layout here. The low is turned down more in our compressor or in the Serum compressor than it was in the Vital compressor, because I don't have these knobs in the compressor in Serum where I can just literally just tell it, hey, just give me less low, which this is very similar to OTT. OTT has these knobs. Surprisingly, the Serum compressor, multiband compressor, which is assumedly basically OTT, does not have these knobs. So I couldn't copy it exactly. And I think that's part of why I had to put this EQ in here. I could not get without the EQ, this does sound notably different. Without the EQ on, the Serum pad in the top end has is notably a little bit more open, so we turn the EQ on. Those sound pretty similar, right? But then on the low end, I've gotten to I think a sweet spot where it's pretty close there. But the low end is maybe a little bit more open on our original Midas pad. So, but yeah, because the compressor here doesn't have these knobs, I think that was the main thing I needed. I needed this to kind of get that shape in there. So that was the main thing I had to add that was completely new and different. And then just some reverb. The one thing that is notable, remember over here in this Vital area, we had used the second filter here to give us this that shrugging trance gate effect. And we don't have another filter, unless I'm missing something here. There's not another filter on Serum, so I kind of am limited because I am using this filter here and then also this filter here. I think I could probably get this filter into this filter, given that there's no motion happening. Yeah, there's probably one of these filter shapes, especially in the multis here, would probably give me like a low, like if I just go like to, I'm gonna stop that, go to like Here? No. Yeah, it doesn't quite do the same thing. Now I've seemed to mess it up. I'm really, really surprised, and maybe I'm really stupid, but I'm very surprised there isn't a back button in Serum here. But yeah, if I was able to combine this filter shape with this filter shape and not have to have two separate filters just kind of making the sound small, I could then use this filter to do this oscillation thing. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to use some sort of automated filter like a shaper box or a transgate effect to get this effect. And it's kind of cool that this effect is built into Vital. Also, in general, across the board, as I was building the sounds, I just preferred Vital's sound to Serum. So you listen to like just one note at a time. Those are so close that I wouldn't care. But when you play two notes, you hear the undertone from the distortion? So when I play the Vital one here, see this guy down here, about this 2 boxes high, that little undertone. And then if I play this here, it's so much louder. It's not quite twice as loud, but like 50% louder. It's not that it's bad, but there's just a cleanliness to this. That sounds good. I like that. And I generally, it's a little bit more kind of like mid-heavy of a sound, a little more rumble in the bass, and then a little bit more crisp, sparkle on the top. And I think I prefer the mid sound for this sound. And again, we're kind of picking hairs here. But I do think I hear a difference there. And this is one of those moments where I would actually, if I want this sound again in the future, I'm gonna pull up the Vital patch and I'm going to use the Vital instance of this instead of the Serum one, especially because of that extra filter there and how nice that is. So extra filter aside, I do think the big differences here are the way the filter is shaped, and also just in general, there's this weird, if I turn off everything, turn off the filters, turn off all the effects, and you're left with just this. Incredibly similar, right? But listen to the beginning of the note. Versus, it's subtle, but there is a more kind of distinct like boom, like a sine wave dong that happens at the beginning of the note in the minus of sound. That sounds normal. Like that fundamental frequency is coming through really strong. That's up here at 33.3 decibels. It occasionally is getting up there, but it's still not quite getting as high, and it's like 3 decibels lower. Why? I don't know. And I think it maybe has something to do with these unison blend settings. If I turn this down, I couldn't find an equivalent to the unison blend over here in our unison stuff. I didn't know which one was that knob. I did find that turning this mode to INV versus linear made the sound a little bit closer overall. But yeah, like just little things like that where like these are the tiny little details that especially can compound once you're putting lots of effects on top of things that make Serum slightly different, not better, just different from Vital. And this is one of those situations where I think having both is really nice. You can kind of compare and contrast. And I do think I learned a little bit more about how synthesis works and how different synthesizers work, and like, being able to like experiment with different types of distortions and different types of filters and different types of compression. They're all just different sounds. What sound do you want, right? Knowing what sound you want in advance is usually a little bit hard when it comes to details this precise, but having both is nice to be able to experiment. But yeah, that fundamental coming through in a kind of unison, in a 9-voice unison stack is the sort of thing that like, if I know I kind of want that little bit more punchiness, fundamental punchiness, I'm gonna use Vital. If I know I want a little bit more of an evenness to those voices, maybe I use Serum in those specific instances. So yeah, I don't know, an interesting thing that's maybe taken way too long to explain here, but I also did take the track and plan out kind of where things are gonna be. So the music we had yesterday is right here. Heartbeat. go hear all that music in the video we had yesterday, but did kind of plan out the track so I can start to put these things in place. And I think that this is where I will have these two, where this section will be is in kind of the second part of the main drop area. So yeah, excited to start planning out the verses and stuff like that. And yeah, well, I'll show you all of that work tomorrow. So that's all we have time for today. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.